Welcome and enjoy your magical marketing insights.
Hey there, magical creators. This is Christine Collins. I hope you're having a lovely day so far. So, I was thinking about some of the messages that I've gotten throughout my life, and you can probably find some of your own if you think about it or go back far enough. And I remember being told about being lazy. Don't be so lazy. And the funny thing about that message is that it really took root. And I found myself as I got older and I moved into my career and I became a professional. I started off as a counselor, as a therapist for several years, and I worked with addiction. And then eventually I moved into a corporate setting, working in the management realm. I became what is known as a type A personality, where I was always doing, I was always moving, I was always proving myself. And I think that when I really kind of dissect that and take it apart, it probably goes back to those early years of being called lazy and having this terror of being perceived that way. But here's the piece that I think is really helpful for us now to take it apart. When you think about any negative message that you have ever received, whether it's been in recent years or it's someone else's marketing or it's a partner or something that happened as a child, when you really dissect it, you can find an underlying motivation. The message came because they either wanted you to buy something or to do something or to feel something that benefited them. So the message about being lazy, get off your butt and do something, obviously that benefits someone else. And when we take this through the lens of marketing, we can really think about how we have been marketed to. As women, we're given a lot of messages about our flaws. We're given a lot of messages about areas that we need to improve, things that we need to be better at, ways that we need to look better, and things that we need to be able to do. And we often come away with the message that we're not organized enough, we're not motivated enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not goal-driven enough. And the message kind of can seep down if you're not attentive to it. And so as marketers ourselves, I think it's really important that we think about not only the language that we use. A Way Motivated is talking about pain points, talking about the yuck, talking about the negative side of an experience. And not always. There are some marketers who don't do this, right? There are some who are like, heart-centered and everything, but there are marketers out there who take that Way Motivated tool and use it to dial up people's wound or sense of inadequacy, that they're not good enough, they're not driven enough, they're not motivated enough, they're not organized enough, they need to get their shit together, they need help doing that, they need to get off their butt, they need to be held accountable. One of my least favorite words in the universe. Like, you need like some grown-up because you're the child and you better go stand in the corner and be held accountable. We don't need those things. We don't need those messages, and we definitely don't need to give those messages to others. And it's something that I think it can be really hard because our language, it's devised a certain way. There's a certain way that we're used to writing, and there's a certain way that we're used to speaking, and we don't intend harm. We don't think about it. We don't think about the way that it makes them feel. But if you go back to the root belief that people will remember how you make them feel more than anything else, not so much what you do or say or anything else, like what you're actually offering, but how your message actually makes them feel. Do they come away from it feeling like crap, feeling like, man, I really need to get myself together? Man, I'm really behind the times, behind everyone else, and I'll never catch up. I think it's really important to be attentive to that. So the Toward Motivated marketing, it is desire-based marketing. What it is they want, how it is they want to feel. And it's usually a good feeling, a high vibe something. They want to feel more confident. They want to feel more empowered. They want to feel like they're on top of things. And often the piece that we really are missing is the confidence. It isn't necessarily that we need more motivation or we need someone to hold us accountable. You know, those things can be helpful if done in the right way. It's just something to think about. You know, it's really like, this is just food for thought to consider the message that you're sending underneath the words. What is the ultimate feeling that someone will take away as they're reading your message? What is the way that you're making them feel with the language that's being used and the tone that's being used? I know sometimes I read things when I'm just scrolling on Facebook and I'm getting like ads, you know, popped to me from just other random marketers. It's often a message like, the ultimate takeaway is you're doing something wrong, you don't know enough, you know, you can't succeed with what you're currently doing. And that's not really true. It's always helpful to get a little bit more knowledge. It's always helpful to get a little bit more insight. We can certainly learn some new things, but there's not like some be all and end all thing that's gonna like magically fix anything. It's like an eclectic accumulation of little tools and tips and tricks that you acquire along the way, and a heck of a lot of it has to do with experience and trial and error. And the thing about that is that the trial and error is actually really important. It's really important part of the journey. It's like, this is a dumb story, but I think it kind of applies. So the other day I needed to buy a pillow. And the other day I decided to do this like meditation about like, okay, instead of me buying 5 pillows and sleeping on all of them, like just tell me which pillow, right? And so I decided to follow that, but I still had kind of a feeling in my gut that I hadn't gotten the right answer. Long story short, what I ultimately concluded about that experience is that in the end, I needed to sleep on 5 pillows. It ended up being like 3 pillows, but I needed to just sleep on all 3 pillows. And the guidance that I got was still accurate because it pointed me towards the first pillow where it like was like the beginning of the journey, right? Like here's step 1. Sometimes it's not about just being given that answer or just being handed the solution or being handed the knowledge. Sometimes, like, you know, we like to laugh about throwing spaghetti at the wall and how we don't need to do that. We shouldn't do that. Like sometimes that is the path. Sometimes that is the journey. Sometimes it is the spaghetti throwing, and that's okay. And we can forgive ourselves for going through the trial and error, for going through the journey and the process. And sometimes getting handed the answer is not what was actually needed. So ultimately, I think that we can just kind of conclude that when there's a message that someone knows something more than you, or they are making you feel like you're inadequate in some way, not motivated enough, not organized enough, not knowledgeable enough, there's usually a reason. And we can call bullshit and we can take apart the story rather than adopting it and taking it onto ourselves. And then in turn, take on the responsibility of the stories that we're generating as we're doing our marketing work. So I hope you found this little insight helpful. Once again, I'm Christine Collins, and I hope that you have an absolutely magical and creative rest of your day.
Thanks for listening. This is Christine Collins at transformcreate.com.